Hello, everyone. In this second presentation, we are with theme one, and part two. We are with an overview on research, and of course, we are reviewing some fundamentals. In this new presentation, we'll tackle and cover two important points. The first one is about the general characteristics of research, and the second one, the criteria of good research. Concerning the general characteristics of research, we can say that research gathers new knowledge or data from different sources. Research places emphasis upon the discovery of general principles. Research is a systematic and accurate investigation. Research uses valid gathering tools, and research is logical and exact. All these statements show for anyone who is doing research that research is something that is very important, for any scientific investigation. Of course, the aim of research is to bring something that is an addition to academia, that is an addition to science, something that tries to answer a question that's still not unanswered, or to solve a problem within, of course, the research field that remains not solved. By trying to answer a question that is unanswered, or by trying to solve a problem that is not solved, the researcher is bringing something, new facts, he is bringing new principles, and the researcher is bringing something, a contribution, again, to science and to academia. Of course, doing research, we should consider some characteristics. Research is systematic, it's organized, it's ordered. It's not something that is carried out without any order, without any organization. Rather, research requires some preparation. It requires some to be very cautious. It requires some grounding. It prepares to have to prepare the ground on which you can carry out your research work. Of course, it's also an accurate investigation. This is what makes research scientific. It should be prepared. It should be done based on some principles, and follow these principles, of course, from the beginning until the end of the investigation. Of course, when you collect data, we said before in the previous presentation that research, in the research process, there are two important if we can say, processes: data collection and data analysis. When you collect data, of course, you have to do that based on some scientific principles. When you analyze data, you have to do that based on some scientific principles. That's why in any research investigation, when you choose the data collection methods or the instruments, the tools by which you collect your data, so you have to proceed through the piloting stage, through the validation of these tools. You cannot start collecting data only like that, but you need that your tools should be validated, your tools should be piloted. This to provide some credibility to your tools, this to make your tools, let's say, valid. The same thing is for the data analysis. Of course, we have to follow some data analysis procedures. So you cannot analyze data based on, let's say, mere appreciation or personal interpretation or on intuition. Rather, when you analyze data, you should usually base your data analysis procedures on valid and credible procedures. This is to make research, this is what makes research very systematic, and also what makes, more importantly, research very accurate, and it's an accurate investigation. This is what makes research also very scientific. Now, let's talk about what we should do as a researcher in order to make research systematic and accurate. Of course, we talked this, but very implicitly on the previous slide. the researcher should eliminate any personal feelings and preferences. This is to ensure more objectivity when you conduct your investigation. No room for personal feelings, no room for personal preferences, no room for personal appreciations. Objectivity requires that you have to eliminate all this. Research is a patient and inherent activity. Of course, one quality that should any researcher have is to be patient. Why? Because research process is a long process from the very beginning until the end. From the time you start conducting your research, your investigation, until the time you complete your investigation. So it's a long process. In this long process, the researcher will meet difficulties, hardships. So the research should be very patient, and he has to develop that sense of critical thinking. Why? Because with critical thinking, with open-mindedness, the researcher can overcome any difficulties. So when you, as a researcher, you face a problem, this does not mean that you have to stop, to give up. Rather, you have to try to look for what to do in order to overcome this hardship. And of course, if you manage to overcome these hardships, of course, you will manage to do your investigation and you complete it. There is no need to rush. There is no need to hurry. Rather, you have to be patient. You have to take time. Patience is very important. A good researcher is a patient person, not someone who hurries, someone who rushes. Research is carefully recorded and reported. Of course, in the research process, we said that we have two sub-process, if you can say. We have the data collection method, data analysis. When you collect data and then you analyze data, by the end, you need to record and to report data, to present them to your audience, to the readers. Generally, we report data in the form of the final written product that is either for master students, the master dissertation, or for PhD students, the PhD thesis. When you report data, you should report and you have to be very careful. You have not also to hurry, this to avoid superficiality, to avoid committing mistakes, to avoid doing mistakes. And when you report data, and these data, they should be very, very significant. The data should be very informative. They inform anyone who reads them, anyone who reads them, inform him or inform her about what you have done and what you have achieved, what you have attained by the end of your research, let's say, by your research work. Of course, also in any research work, conclusions and generalizations are arrived at carefully and cautiously. Again, we are repeating the same ideas that research, when you do research, you have to be very cautious and very careful. Why? Because everything should be taken seriously. Everything should be done seriously. By the end, things you will arrive at them, they will be accurate and exact. Now let's move to see some criteria of good research. First point is that it says that good research is systematic. We have talked about this. It means it is structured with specific steps. Good research is logical. This implies that research is guided by rules of logical reasoning. Good research is replicable, which means it allows research results to be verified by replicating the study and thereby building a sound basis for decision. Research is systematic. It's structured, it's organized, it goes through steps. Research is logical. It means it needs scientific thinking, logical reasoning. Research is replicable. That means what you obtain as results, they may be replicated in another study. And generally when we replicate, this is for verification, for checking, for confirmation of what has been obtained in the previous study. These are very important criteria of good research. Overall, this is all about the second presentation in this theme 1 that has covered some fundamentals about research and what research is. Thank you very much indeed.